Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is Independent Sound.
UBC has 11 sister. Welcome to Ground Zero Season 2, a show that brings you in-depth discussion ranging from politics, health, finance, sports, and so much more. Ground Zero Season 2.
I, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, swear in the name of the Almighty God that I shall faithfully exercise the functions of the President of Uganda and shall uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and observe the laws of Uganda, and that I shall promote the welfare of the people of Uganda. So help me God.
Welcome to Ground Zero Season 2, a show that brings you in-depth discussion.
Our dear listener of UBC Radio, you're most welcome to this important edition of UBC Ground Zero. It is a very big privilege for us to be here and joining you, and also we're glad that we're always here because we know that you are the music in the background. You just know what we are week hours. We are talking about 12th May 2026 when Uganda and the people of Uganda are going to be celebrating but also witnessing a very milestone in the country's history when President-elect His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to be part of that very important event. But also we have had information that on Monday 11th May 2026, especially people around Kampala metropolitan area, you're going to be entertained by something very nice from Uganda People's Defense Forces. So must be excited to be part of this country called Uganda. In the studios of UBC, I do have a privilege to have our own Majesty Chirinjo, who happens to be coming from Uganda, one of Uganda's interesting institutions that is in charge of educating and empowering the people of Uganda with information they need. I'm talking about Government Citizen Interaction Center, and is a communications officer. You're most welcome, Chirinjo, on this show.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Buteega. Good morning, our listeners. I'm again happy to be home as we do most of the Saturdays, having a conversation around our country and educating each other on several issues and sharing opinions and criticisms and appreciations for what we have as a country. And I'm happy to be here this morning.
Interesting. We're also expecting to be joined by Counsel Samuel Oyetri, is the advocate at Oyetri and Company Advocates, and of course Ojabili Augustine, who comes from Forum for Democratic Change, joining us later on. We're looking at protecting the gains, making a qualitative leap. His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and also National Resistance Movement made a pledge and promised the people of Uganda that this is going to be their theme for this term for the next 5 years, and this is the kind of directions that we're going to take. And Chilinjo, we expect to be learning a lot on what you promised Ugandans and how you are willing to achieve that as we Uganda readies for President Museveni's 7th term. As we take a close look into the pledges that were made and also those that are in the NRM Manifesto 2026-2031. I want to welcome you from all that you've been able to achieve and also accomplish this week, but also taking us a little back in during the campaigns, where you had a few months to the campaign, where you had enough time to do the redraw a very good picture on how the campaigns went, because if we carry your manifesto theme, we cannot forget the people of Uganda as we wait to see the president swearing in next week, Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Tuesday, of course, is going to be a monumental day. Our candidate, President Yoweri Museveni, will be swearing in. And next time they think, the 7th term, but he has been winning democratically. We are following the constitution. We have not, the constitution has not violated. Gain that should be protected is that process itself, the electing our own leaders. That is the first gain that can kick us off this morning, because we are symbolizing it. We are, as part of the celebrations, part of the swearing is symbolizing that gain. That we, every 5 years, we go to the polls, we go to the campaigns, and we can tell the Ugandans what we are up to, what we are capable of doing. Each candidate, whether independent or under a party, you are free to traverse the country and, explain to Ugandans what you want to do. Of course, NRM has been much luckier because of being in the seat. For example, if you went to northern Uganda, you don't even need to tell them what gained. From 86, after much of the country became peaceful, but their sons, our brothers in the north, who were in the previous government, were like, no, we still want to be in charge, and they didn't put down their weapons easily, which took us almost 20 years to solve. And 20 years were 20 years of misery. Internally displaced people's camps in much of northern Uganda, which meant there was no agriculture going on. NGOs were the ones thriving there. You get money and serve a few things here and there. Of course, government had to come in and help the people who were, displaced. Of course, now infrastructure couldn't go on. Currently, I think northern Uganda has the biggest number of projects, especially roads, because for 20 years you couldn't build the road there. Why? Because the Joseph Kony, who was the last one, but initially there were others. There was, of course, like when first initially before Kony, there was West Nile Bank Front. There was UPA in eastern Uganda, the Soroti areas, bring Obote back. So generally, much of our country in the space of conflict, armed conflict. So for them, their number one gain was the return of peace. People are back in their homes. They may not be, economically empowered yet, but at least you have to start somewhere. Even if I wanted to empower you economically and you are living in a disorganized environment, even you would fear the incentives I'm bringing. You're like, why am I? You want to make me? You even fear them. So, but now that they are in their homes, the agenda is going on. The roads are being constructed. The restocking of cattle in northern Uganda is ongoing. My comrade, my Uganda right now, and making sure that the restocking takes place. The other people who had gone in there, the Bararo, they had to harmonize their stay such that they actually do not again fail to restock, because there are other people who are already coming with the cattle. So the gains, and now those are gains, like for example in that region, peace is very big issue, that because they had a terrible time. Now, even when you come to our side, I mean, you go to Ruwero, the Ruwero people, that Ruwero was the center of the NRA war, and I can tell you, I think every family will tell you I lost somebody, if not all of them, in some cases. So
even those that did not lose their dear ones, they were affected in one way or the other. Displacement, loss of property, and so many other things.
Yes. Some of them, and even when they survived, the whole family may not have gone back home. They could have shifted to other districts, and that's ancestry lost somehow. So, but now 30 years down the road, we're approaching 40 years of total peace. So, ironically, Ruwero, people sometimes don't understand democracy. Democracy is where you go and make a complaint using your vote, or go and appreciate using your vote. So sometimes Ruwero votes opposition, maybe to protest, but this prime economic issues. And for me, that's development. That's progress in democracy. That somebody can go and complain against you using just a pen and a tick. It's like, no, I'm not happy with you. And then when you look at the results, like what is going on, then you go and have a conversation. Say, what is going on? That's a serious gain. Then, of course, we cannot download the infrastructure. Right now, if you stand in Kampala, you can drive on tarmac. Even when you say some areas have gotten they need, for example, Mavera needs to be redone. But for some time, Mavera was one of the best drives in Uganda. You arrive there in Mavera and you don't even want Mavera to end. Smooth road, that the natural breeze. You are like in darkness at noon. You get it, eh? But you can drive to the border with Sudan, the border with Kenya, the border with Congo, the border with Rwanda, and the border with Tanzania on tarmac. All those directions. Yes, in the middle you may find the repairs in Katonga. You may find repairs in like Mavera had said. You may find like northern Uganda, Mitiana there. But you are sure the road where I didn't find the tarmac, they actually doing renovation, not even starting afresh. They're doing renovation because some of the roads were earlier done after 86. Some roads were done. Now, also sometimes we forget Uganda is a developing country. A developing country is like a construction site. You are building a 20-story building. You start from ground. You even first dig downwards first.
Actually, it is the foundation that can take much of the time and resources.
That's an interesting observation. The foundation may take you more time and almost 50% of the resources. Because, when you start going up, it's the easy part. But that easy part, you want it to stand on something extremely strong. So you start by going down, making sure where you are putting this extraordinary tall building is stable ground.
And I've also seen some of the buildings around, they first do the foundation, 2 levels, they stop from there. They operate in those 2 floors. When the resources are available, they add
Well, you know, you get it. Because you are very sure that the foundation is okay. So you can say, no, let me be operating on these 2 floors. And I think that's what Uganda right now is doing. It's like you first take this direction, build 200 kilometers of roads. First stop there, come back. We have discovered oil. Now, first deal with the oil roads because they will help complete this one much faster than collecting taxes here, romancing donors. Let's first do the oil roads with our resources, because when oil starts flowing, then you come and repair these roads. So the gains are now the oil has also come in the gains. You get it. Was any doubt about how we need to protect our oil? The Iran America-Israeli war has proven it. It's like, you know what? You can see what happens if you export crude and don't refine for yourselves. So if there was any need for a refinery in Uganda, affected. And I was telling a friend of mine that Dangote must be the happiest African currently living, because he built an expensive refinery in Nigeria, and a lot of acrimony, pushback, even from his own fellow citizens. But I think we have to give it to President Tinubu and I think the previous one. They supported him. They gave the project the green light. And recently, when he finished the refinery, he exported some oil to Europe, and it was returned that it's poor quality, and So the other day, the Europeans were like, you know what? Yeah, you bring that one.
Poor quality.
You bring that poor quality for, there's no problem. But it was not poor quality.
We shall prefer it by ourselves.
The machines to refine were imported from Europe. So what the heck are you talking about? That's poor quality. It was refined by the same machines Shell uses, Total uses. So what are you talking about? But it was that economic fight that was against him. So the oil is part now of the gains, and when it's done, it does not only provide jobs, but also it provides that stability we need. Chira Motors, people, I normally see people, trashing Chira Motors, but in the grand scheme of things, Chira Motors is one of the biggest gains Uganda is making.
The other day we gave, we exported some buses to South Africa.
I think they signed an agreement. I don't know how many have gone, because they wanted like 400 of them. I don't know how many.
Is it 45?
No, they actually, the total bus number is around 400, but I don't know the procedure of giving to them, how it stretches. The reason why I call it a very huge gain is because the future is electric. Now, if you put up an infrastructure like China Motors, what does it do? It trains local engineers how to deal with this thing. If it comes and it is, we have gotten this, because you cannot spend entire your life importing vehicles which use gas, which use oil and petrol. Then when technology changes, you are still again behind. You're still again importing electric cars.
Yes, so, you say you're in the new normal.
Yeah, exactly. So the earlier you begin, however clumsily you begin. So that by the time the technology becomes expanded, you are not importing, you are also exporting. So people don't see that element in Chira Motors. Secondly, Chira Motors now, because the last time we were there, Engineer Musasi's, I think the CEO, was telling us that, look, we cannot manufacture everything that goes into a bus. We import some. But ideally, we would have wanted to buy it from Ugandans. Why should we import a chair for Chira Motors? You guys go make chairs. Why should we import a belt for this bus? You go and make the belts and come and tell us that, you know what, we are now, I have a component that your bus needs. And I was like, okay, that's good. It will be us to be defeated, but the project is there. And And of course, he told us already some Ugandans are supplying
The
some.
opportunity is there.
Yeah, it's there for us to take. But when you go on social media, oh, that one is another, you white. Many of us who do those comments, we don't produce anything as well.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Linjo, coming from a Government Citizen Interaction Center. And from your observations and also submissions, one can tell where you come from without necessarily me introducing you. Ojabil Augustine, also part of the family of UBC in Ground Zero. It's always a privilege having it. But we think that is the think that is the president, not think, but we are sure is now the president of all Ugandans, regardless of the political affiliation, regardless of tribe and age and any other gender. What is your immediate response to the swearing in, and how will the FDC represent the citizens of this country to be part of this new government?
Thank you, Amon, and our dear listeners. Once again, Augustine Ojobide is my name. I am this.
He has forgotten his.
Not really.
Who is fearing to tell us what this? Because now is his reality.
No,
You scared him with the guy in his
no. That discussion will come later. I think the question has been altered a bit to a different discussion. It's now the swearing in. It's no longer, though the other one will come later, he's only asking for my opinion on the issue.
Because everyone seems to be excited. I was looking at how FDC or you as an individual are part of this excitement.
Which is going to come next week. Obviously, as a country who went through an election, obviously a contested election, and court proceedings just ended in a manner that was not unprecedented, where people ended up withdrawing their cases and then come to the public and tell you that, please, I'm still pursuing it, but I've withdrawn. Now the two continue confusing the public. Even myself, I am still confused whether he's pursuing it in which manner, because that is the statement he made. That is former presidential candidate, I think he's called who? The one who went to court.
That was
Robert Kasivante?
Kasiva, how to handle the situation outside the room where they had sat to agree that please withdraw the matter.
How about in a situation where you find yourself in the court, but you do not have ground or enough facts or evidence that the court sometimes need?
I think, you see, that brings you back to the issue of preparations before you do something. That at one point, you cannot say the declaration of the president was done on a Saturday. Was it Saturday? If I recall well. I think it was a Saturday. And on Monday, you are in court. So it beats my understanding how, and we were here, actually. I remember that period, the next Saturday. I was here with you and I said, this matter of a presidential petition is not a petition, it's not a court matter where you are handling a chicken thief. That you are just going to go to court and put in a complaint, so and so stole my chicken. The chicken was brown in color, it had some white feathers on the back, and you explain such, and you say, now this is the end. A petition at the level of a president, you must prepare adequately. And we made it here. Clear print. You can even play those audios if you wished. And we said that matter would go nowhere because there was ill preparation. We have been in this. Kasivante, if he wanted actually to play real legal battle, he should have contacted various players and said, okay, for me I have an opportunity to go to court. What do you have? He never approached FDC, at least I am aware. He never approached us, though we had glaring issues that we observed. He never approached the other political players. So, by all standards, I can assure you the court matter under the presidential petitions was just as plain as writing a story, trying to tell a colleague how you participated in an election and that I did not make it through, and you expect judges to make a ruling or judgment in your favor for telling a story that you went into a contest and you did not make it through. So this swearing in, which is taking place on Tuesday for the president, being a public holiday, I think maybe I would request, since Tuesday is being pronounced as a public holiday, and we have our representatives as members of parliament swearing in from Wednesday to Friday. Is it? Or it is Wednesday to Thursday?
After the presidential swearing in, president,
so
then the members of parliament.
We would request kindly the person who proposed that Tuesday should be a public holiday should also announce that we should have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday public holidays. So that
also Ugandans need to work, Ojabile.
No, but you mean we don't need to witness our MPs swearing in? It's very important. There were daily representatives in the August House. So this is my request, that whoever proposed that on Tuesday we should have a public holiday, let us have public holidays for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because
all week to be
So Jabir is listening to a lot of rumors.
No, that's why I'm saying I have no evidence, but I have heard.
But Chirinju here,
so Chirinju is here. You will tell us whether there is a new jet coming by Monday, whether it is choosing about 10 trillions to corruption, and you cannot hear any serious legal process that is helping us to curb such kind of corruption situations. You know what this means? Losing 10 community hospitals to the north, to the dot. You need about 3 billions. So these 3 billions, if you calculated them into the 10 trillions we lose every day, you would build about 4 international or national hospitals. So really
10 trillion a year, not a day.
A year. Sorry. So you would really have such. So what are we for one day? And that is the swearing in of the president. Then afterwards,
then the next also day, telling us about the priorities, that they said maybe the money they were proposing to do hospitals, they have diverted it to the PDM, which is making wonders in this country, transforming communities and also transforming lives.
You see, I love those good stories.
Are there stories or facts?
I love those good stories. If we are talking about something making wonders, I live in Kasubi. It is a parish. I am an ancient. I'm an old man there. I've been there for some good time, and I'm a leader in that community. I live in a village which accommodates over about that is zone 4 of Kasubi. It has a population of about 17,000 people. For the local people to understand. 17,000 people. I am a leader in that village. PDM. We have 10 villages in Kasubi parish. I would assume within the 5 years, at least 1 or 2 people from my village should have been part of the beneficiaries in the entire 5 years.
Are you saying that of all the parishes that you just mentioned, no one, a resident of Kasubi, specifically in your village, has received PDM fund or money?
In my village, I know none.
It might be the problem.
No, not me. For me, I may not get.
You said he's a leader, so I expect you to mobilize the people.
Now, if you go to that line, there's even a time I had to write a letter. That was in 2000 and last year. This is 2026, 2024. No, 2025, last year, in March. I wrote a letter to the division and introduced myself very well as a leader, both in the party FDC and in the community. Okay? Because I am a leader of one of the circles in Kasubi Parish. And I wrote in
PDM circles or these
the local community circles. So I wrote a letter in the capacity of Ojobira Agustini being the Secretary Electoral Commission, FDC, but also the chairperson of CTI, Woodwork Workshop. Okay? So, if I shared with you the letter, the response that was given to me, it ashames government. And I just kept it at that. Kirinji, if you want a copy of that letter, I will give it to you. After this show, it is you who will share it with Amon, and you will tell me whether that letter is good to be written by a government official to a person who has requested, because I requested for two things. One, to come and educate people on how to access PDM funds. Come, talk, civic education. Then two, how you can benefit even after getting the money. Teach them how can they get the money. Then two, when you get the money, how do you benefit? How do you use it for the good of yourself and your community and the family?
But if government says that 70% of the villages and the beneficiaries that were supposed to get the PDM funds have already been served, I am wondering if Kasubi,
those are good stories. That's why I told you these are good stories to be told for the ears to listen. But the soul and the mind are in pain.
Why do you think you have not been served?
It is this with the leadership of the parish. But they were threatened. They said, I can't really take because for you, FDC, you go to the division. I said, okay, I can still reach there. And I went. I wrote to the leader of the PDM in the division, and the leader sent me to the RCC. Just imagine, sent me to the RCC, and it is the RCC who wrote the response.
Okay, there's something that we need to make a follow-up and find out.
So
what
I will
happened.
share with Kirinju that letter. And
and is the right person. You subscribe to PLU. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Amon, thanks so dearly. Good morning, our listeners. My name is Samuel Yotre. As introduced, I'm very, 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 very happy to be here to interact intellectually with my colleagues here. Allow me spend special greetings. The last I was here, Amon, you put it to us that we are being listened to nationwide. I'm very happy that the West Nilers are tuned in. Thank you so much. Amon, as I said, the last I was here, I am a member and supporter of the Patriotic League of Uganda. Yesterday, our chairperson, General Mozi Kainerugaba, was at the Kololo grounds doing the final drills of what we shall see on the day of the swearing in. There is something very special special and fun that General Mozi Kainerugaba has brought to the military in this country. You know, I grew up in my early childhood in northern Uganda, and historically, again, it's a historical mistake, but historically, we know that when the white man was here, they structured our community wrongly, but they did structure it in ways that the North were seen as the military men. You know, they said now Buganda, these ones will be the administrators. Then they go this side, they said these ones will grow coffee. Then they go to the north and they say here, these ones are very hardworking, very strong. They can be in the military. So our post-independence social structure was such that the army and the like were from the north. So the people in the north value the army so much. I remember when we used to have those independence, the independence celebrations in the villages. where you'd have scouts come from from the various schools, and they would compete in military drills, and the winner would always be announced, and the school would go with the pride of the year in the north. So we have this feeling of pride when we see military drills. This is what General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has brought back in the army. We saw them do very beautiful drills. We saw them display our military might, both, in terms of the armory on land. We saw some of the equipment. We saw a flag being flown across the skies of Kampala. It was very beautiful to view, and I'm very, very happy to have General Muhoozi Kainerugaba as my chairman of the PLU and the CDF exhibit our military might. Mr. Amon, military is everything, really. We can, say this, talk policy, talk economy, but at the height of a country's might is the question of their military strength. You have seen what the Americans did with the Maduros, the Venezuela. You have seen what they are doing and for the case of Venezuela, they said we're here for nothing but your oil. We have seen what they have done in the Middle East. We have seen what they are doing right now in Iran and the like. Just an utter and complete display of military power to extend economic dominion. So I'm very happy that General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has brought to ensure that we show to the world that we are here and that we are a power to contend with. I'm very, very, very happy.
Interesting. We're talking about the swearing in of President Yoweri Museveni for the 7th term, and we're looking at the theme and the project that they made to the people of Uganda, protecting the gains, making a qualitative leap to the high middle income status. I am wondering if you have any gains that you are looking forward to protect, or those do you say that we can celebrate ABCD in the past regimes? We're looking at the last 6 terms as we look forward to the 7th term.
Mr. Amon, thanks so dearly. I think that the most fortunate thing that has happened to this country are the events of the 1986 entrance of the current president of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, into office. It's the most. We have the Kabaka who is lead of government. Then we have, him competing very, very closely with His Excellency Obo. And then we have we have a tip of power. His Excellency Obote takes over, and then there is that scuffle between Mengo and the central government, and then the Kabaka leaves, and then Obote is also overthrown by Amin. Then Amin completely destroys our economic base. Completely destroys our economic base because of sectarian politics. The Asians who had actually grown the base of Uganda's economic base are thrown out of the country, and we go into disarray, complete disarray. Now, with the coming of, then of course we have the several presidents thereafter. Then we have the president of Uganda, the current president of Uganda, come back to office, and the president starts a process of minimum economic recovery. That, look, guys, we have been through so much. We are beginning from nearly zero. In terms of utilities, in terms of the energy infrastructure, transport infrastructure, in terms of household income, health sector, everything was completely crumbled. So we begin this minimum economic recovery program, which the president worked over time up till the last 6 years of his term that you are referring to. The 2021 government have been able to protect. Amoni, peace and stability, it doesn't just happen. It doesn't happen. You really have to work towards it. And the first lead in working towards that is actually proper ideological founding. It's very, very fundamental. This government has always emphasized, and the NRM in particular has emphasized, non-sectarian politics. We have had a problem in Uganda for very, very many years, where we had the political leadership be very sectarian always. When you look at how the early political parties functioned, you have DP. They will tell you, now this one here is for this particular. In fact, UPC first. They'll say, now UPC, this is for a particular religion. Then DP will say, now since you cannot have a Catholic as a Kabaka, or you cannot have a Catholic as a prime minister of Buganda. Catholics have been put by the sides. Let's form a political party along with those religious lines. Then you have Kabaka Yeka say, no. These DP people, they are very nationalistic in their approach, and they are ignoring the question of Buganda. Let's have another political party called Kabaka Yeka. So we were rallying our political leadership along very sectarian lines. And this sectarian politics is what destroyed the early post-independence Uganda. Now, what the president has been able to do, very successfully, is to reorientate us ideologically to make sure that in our thinking we are non-sectarian. Can we put aside our tribes? Can we put aside our religions? Can we put aside our identities and focus on our interests? It's not very, very easy, because sometimes, Amon, politics is very easy to thrive in when you are sectarian. You just have to play with people's emotions and say, we the Baganda, we the Bateso, we the this. And the locals will identify with you when you are playing sectarian politics. It's very, very easy to win an election. It's very easy to mobilize politically when you're sectarian. But to know that beyond my self-interest as a politician, maybe because I want to thrive in elective politics, let's have a country that is non-sectarian. It's not a very easy decision to make, but that's the decision, that's the line that our president and the NRM has taught, and the result of it has been peace and stability, and among many other gains. I think that's one other gain we have to jealously keep.
Interesting. Thank you so very much, Council Samuel. But in your own opinion, do you think those that were behind all these sacrifices, do you think we have stood to keep their legacy alive?
Yes, I think that in some ways, yes, but in some ways maybe not, because personally, maybe this is personal to me. When PLU was starting, we were advised by the leadership that we are not fighting the NRM. We are actually the children of the revolution, the fathers of the Roosevelt. I have my concept of the fathers of the revolution vis-a-vis some of the people we have in the party today. I felt the revolution vis-a-vis some of the people we have in the party today. I felt as an individual that the fathers had built something amazing that some of us, the children, are really messing up. So in part on us, the children, are really messing up. So in part on the blood stains that were shed in the bushes of Luwero in that liberation struggle. For example, when you look at the deceleration in patriotism, this is one of the principles of the party. That let's look at the country first. But you can see, even within the NRM, a bit of sectarian politics. You can see even within the NRM a lot of corruption. You have seen members of parliament being charged. You have seen leaders being, even at the ministerial levels, being charged in the courts of law for corruption-related scandals. I feel that the children of the revolution-related scandals. I feel that the children of the revolution, in many respects, have failed to carry on with the ideals that the fighters and the revolutionaries actually brought. And I think we have a lot of repentance to do in that area.
Oh, thank you so very much, Council Samuel. Challenge before I go for a break. How do you plan, or what are some of your strategies do you intend to employ to make sure that you bring all the people of Uganda together, including opposition and Jubilee here, to be part of the new government, the new term for the prosperity and the progress of all Ugandans?
Thank you very much. Maybe before I answer that, let me first say a few things about what the Comrade Jubilee was talking about. He seemed to have been criticizing Kasabante for trying, and yet he says they had better preparation than him. I don't know. The courts were open for any contestant that felt cheated. I guess if DC didn't feel cheated, at least Mushamun said, no, I don't have any evidence that they cheated me. So if DC had issues, why didn't they do something? If it had better information, but also he should know that when I got caught because I have a conflict to deal with. Now, if the person I'm conflicting with is called court and we reach court and the judge, because normally judges ask you, do you want to go ahead with this, or there is room that you can solve it before we proceed? If Kasiwante agreed with NRM that okay, we can go and solve it in a civil manner rather than continuing with the case, that's also not bad because you went there to solve a problem.
It's also accepted by court.
Yes, you went there to solve a problem. You didn't go that fight necessarily. So if they solved it, that's good. On a public holiday, the presidential public holiday is one.
That is your strategy as well of solving conflict.
Yeah, it's one of those strategies. Why do we go with this ahead? Like in the United States, even in criminal cases, they can say if you got caught and you lose, we are sentencing you to death. But if you agree that you committed the murder and we don't go any further, we are sentencing you to 20 years in jail. So you have to sit down. It's like, okay, what are my options? Risk a death sentence or go and lounge for 20 years in jail? So these things, they discuss them. On public holiday, this is 1 day in 5 years, for God's sake. So it shouldn't be an issue. Even if FDC had one, we would have been home lounging on Tuesday as well. So we shouldn't say that it's NRM thing.
The NRM that we have.
No, if FDC had one, we would be home on Tuesday.
His concern was for the whole week.
That is putting in MPs. No, MPs, that one we can work with them along the way. Holiday for individuals. You as a for that is swearing in, I'm escorting. Next up, what you said earlier.
Do not talk of a jet going around.
But you missed everything up.
I said the presidential jet.
But
I was specific.
That's the correction I'm making. That for you, when you had the jet.
I was specific. I said the presidential.
I have not heard of any presidential jets being bought. But what I know, there's a jet on Monday that is going to do some. Then on Among with that 3 billion car, I haven't read how it came, but I'm told it's a private arrangement and probably a donation. I have not yet figured that out, but I will see. On corruption, 10 trillion a year. I think ever since Safande Magambo came in at CID, this 10 trillion a year corruption loss, I think, has been reduced. Because even the last police report, which was presented, I think, in March, Jabir should go and read it. There are cases that have been handled, and the money that has been recovered is there. So this report, I think, is around 3 years old. This 10 trillion shilling loss every year is a 3-year-old report from IGG, I think. But it's no longer 10 trillion. At least if it's like Oyetri said, we are still losing money, and the culprits are largely NRM anyway. On good stories, even God says, don't just live on food only. Good stories can also, a good word, So he shouldn't quite suitable for rural arrangement. And unfortunately, it's a national program. So when it reaches centers like Kampala, the confusion arises. But ever since its start of implementation, they are doing changes. For example, initially I think it was saying a certain number of this parish, we get this money.